Welcome back to the Zero Check Podcast, episode 106. Gentlemen, good evening. And how's it going over there?
Doing good.
Going quite well.
Good.
Yeah.
Fantastical.
I am riding on a high of productivity and happiness. I've done a lot of work on this campaign in the last week. I had this spring of inspiration that just overtook me, and I have a very full agenda. Do you see this thing?
Holy crap.
That note card is filled out.
How long was that agenda, Mike? It looked like a long agenda.
It's pretty long. It's got items and sub items.
Oh, I see. I thought those were okay. I'm glad we've got supporting details.
And normally you just like slap around an empty note card, like to make it sound like you have an
I
agenda.
know this one's got writing on it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
not
a prop.
It's not a bit this time.
We're taking auction bids on this piece of.
What are you bidding on?
I mean, I'm just thinking like we like let our audience would love to have a piece of our podcast. And they can
you think that I should sell this note card?
Genuine zero
memorabilia.
check. Yeah.
I'm the only one that can read this handwriting.
I'd say we could auction off our notes, but I think we all stopped taking them.
So it's written in Jotun.
I stopped taking them.
Yeah, remember how Chris used to diligently scribble along?
I was tracking like each day and what happened on each day and where we were in the calendar, but no more.
I lost track a couple of times, and now I like try to track conditions at this point.
I believe it's late spring right now.
It's sometime in late spring.
Spring of
of year 2.
Fellas, I have an agenda. I'm going to read off the items. There's really 3 items, but there are subparts to these items. Item number 1 is just a quick wrap up of the Beast's Den. We talked about this a little bit last time, but we're going to get this thing totally wrapped up. Item number 2, back to Fort Trand. We're going back home. And then item number 3 is entitled The Future.
Seems very open-ended, like this
flying carriages and bubble houses.
We're basking in the victory of finishing book 2. I can't believe it. I'm so thrilled. And I thought before we talk about the Beast's Den one last time and pick up that little bit of loot that we missed, I thought it might be useful to recap everything that happened in book 2. Book 2, which spanned 60 plus episodes.
Jesus.
By the way.
I think we started book 2 at level 5 too.
Probably, I think it was level 6.
Well, yeah, you might have. But
remember
these things.
Remember when we were level 5?
I don't
Guys,
remember.
it's the journey, not the destination.
Yep.
I would like the journey at level 7.
Would you?
It may be a more fun journey at level 7, but.
So book 2, really it's chapter 4 of this book, but it's what I think was probably originally book 2. Book 2 is entitled Rivers Run Red. I don't think I ever told you that. And book 2 is split into 3 parts. Home Sweet Home, which is the part that contains the Kundal investigation.
Oh my God.
The Kobold Spies.
Oh shit.
The Cult of Gairana that you guys took down. Remember all that?
Yeah.
And book 2 is meant to dovetail you into the second part, which is Troll Trouble, where, of course, you find Hargulka's lair, go in, take it down. And then book 3, of course, is the Beast's Den. So when you lay it out that way, it kind of seems like this should have taken 15 episodes or something, one thing after another. But that wasn't all that you did in book 2. You also went to Candlemere Island, where we spent 28 episodes there.
And
you guys went and visited the lizard town. You guys visited the old Beldame. Remember her and learned some stuff from her. Did all kinds of stuff. And I'm just so proud of you.
Cortella died.
Yeah, and speaking of Cortella, we had what I thought was a beautiful ceremony. It may not have been Cortella's last wishes. Sorry.
So many characters of Donnie's have died.
May not have been his last wishes, but I thought it was a beautiful ceremony.
Wasn't it?
That it was very warming.
It was warming.
Warming.
Well, there was the whole Lindsay thing too.
Does that come from the companion guide, or was it from the?
Yeah, that's out of the companion guide. Okay. The Gragglebeard encounter is out of the companion guide that you did with Yukandeo as well. My gosh, Horst's Tomb. We did Horst's Tomb in book 2.
That was in book 2? I thought that was
a while ago.
Wow. Yeah, that was after the Stag Lord, wasn't it? I think it was. yeah, that was pretty new. You guys went and visited with Boken and learned some stuff from him. Teresia's Grove, the lumberjack trial with millions.
Oh, yeah.
You did Cree Tower and that hidden elven tower on your way to
the Gregory debate.
You guys debated Gregory and turned that into a trial. So there was like a lot of stuff that you guys covered. And here's the deal. I've alluded to this before. Book 2 and really book 1 also, they both sort of rest on top of the hexploration stuff that you generally are doing at this point in the game too. But the hexploration stuff may be coming to an end, or at least it's not going to play as large of a part anymore in this game.
I was going to say, there's a lot of hexes left.
Yeah, there's a lot of hexes left. That's true. But you have really done a lot of it already, a lot of the hexploration. There's a big density of locations in the Came Lands, the Green Belt, Tuskwater, Rosslyn Hinterlands. As you begin getting further and further away, I think you're going to begin coming into contact with other kingdoms who themselves have explored the lands that they inhabit. That makes sense?
Yeah, temporarily inhabit until we take it from them.
Yeah, until we explore and take it away from them.
Right.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
No. We enter the diplomacy part of the game.
Right. Yeah, the diplomacy. But no, I was thinking back over the last, year or so that we've been in this book, maybe even a little longer. And I'm just amazed at everything that we covered. And I do miss Kritala, but I like Ogjulinus and Tompton a lot. He's entertaining. And Kritala was too, though. Boy, they're both really good.
Just think how good the next one will be after you kill off.
I don't know. I don't want to kill Ogjulinus and Tompton, which means he might himself. Yeah, it's true.
There you go.
Hey, let's pick up the back end of the loot here in the Beast's Den.
Okay.
It's 62 gold pieces you find in there. You find a pair of healer's gloves, which I think help with medicine checks, I think. You find another wand of shocking grasp. I think you've got one or two of those already.
Dual wield.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, dual wield them there, Sirio. And you find a bottle of silver sheen, whatever that is. And the four of you emerge then from the beast's lair. The carcass of the beast is where you left it. And you're now sort of armed with this dark knowledge that your benefactor, Nerissa, maybe has been helping other potential kings as well, and perhaps pitting them against each other. And it looks perhaps that Sirio, the king of men and women, has come out on top.
It's the place to be.
Right?
Especially if we're in a scenario where there can only be one, right?
Is it like the Highlander?
I feel like I got that kind of vibe with the ending of last episode.
Yeah. Yep.
One king to rule them all.
Yep.
We're not, combatants in an actual arena, but the arena is like the whole stolen lands, and we've just been dropped in and we're fighting to see who comes out on top.
I guess. To review, Eirik, perhaps a king of beasts, Hargulka, a king of giants, the Stag Lord, a king of bandits, or maybe a king of criminals, and then a traditional civilization building king, Sirio Sertova. I think it's pretty cool. I've always enjoyed that concept.
Isn't there also a king of lanterns mixed in there somewhere?
Oh, the Lantern King, right. Is there, what could there be a connection?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
So what does he always do? Like shine a light on stuff? Like what's his deal? He just illuminates things. Yeah. It's dark. Not anymore. I'm here.
Oh my God. Lightning strikes down Mitchell. He's dead. No, I'm just kidding.
I would be surprised.
I kind of feel like I've hyped the Lantern King up a little bit. You should have respect for the Lantern King. He's amazing.
We'll fight him. Where's he at?
Oh God.
He's like one of the old gods, isn't he?
He's one of the elders of the first world.
The elders, yeah.
So I wouldn't want to fuck with him. What do you guys do? What do you do?
Let's get the fuck back to
Let's
Fort
skin
Trand.
the owl so we can get the carpet made.
Yep. No, I like so I still like the head kind of over the top of the throne and then the rest of it just kind of coming down like the backdrop of the throne.
Oh,
Hey,
you're like a tapestry.
You're the crafter here.
Yeah.
Do we need to taxidermy the little one?
Oh,
we
the
should
baby.
stuff him. Mike,
Be a good conversation piece.
For the record, that is Mike's fault that we killed that.
What? Why?
Because you
What
didn't say
did I
it was
do?
a baby. You just said a young owlbear. That's not very descriptive.
And you did tell us that it was our option. It was your option to have a young owlbear.
Yeah, I didn't have to put him in.
Yeah.
I didn't have to put him in, but I did.
You'd think you'd know. You'd think you'd
So
know.
you think I
what
was
gonna happen.
asking for it? Huh?
Yeah.
You think I was asking for it?
Well, we just fought a huge owlbear. And then you're going to put another one right in front of us. What do you think we're going to do?
I thought. Do you want me to answer that question honestly?
Yes.
I thought when I described him, Pooh Bear stuck in the tunnel and asleep, that maybe you would have looked at him or something.
You've said that about you've said that kind of cutesy stuff about like big bad guys though before too, like Hargulka or something. Like,
Did I?
took us.
I thought it was very obvious that you expect us to adopt this owlbear,
I did too. I'm not gonna lie.
but
You got to ask
I was
yourself.
not going to stop because I thought it was going to be funny if we went ahead and did it. And
Yeah, I mean, you got to ask yourself, W.W.D.D. What would Dry do?
What
What would I do?
Yeah, what would, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Mitchell.
I tried to
Violence
salvage.
is always the answer.
I tried to salvage the interaction by going.
yeah,
Shot
that
it in the
helped.
neck, and that just spurred you on.
Yeah, because
Well, I
I
think
missed the first
Blood in
time.
the water.
I think I posted it in our private officer Discord, but like Jurassic Park, like they had the little baby velociraptors.
Yeah, true.
Like they're still nasty fuckers. Like it's a velociraptor. Like it doesn't mean it's cute, just because it's young.
There would have been a nature check to handle animal.
I'm trained in
involved
nature,
in
too.
this.
That'd have been fantastic.
Good replace pig. Good head.
I want an owlbear.
No, you
Said
had
that.
your
You
shot.
literally said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well.
That's right. Thank you. You reminded me. You were like, I want an owlbear because remember I talked about how the big owlbear sired young and
Well, I wanted an egg. I didn't want to fucking. He already had bad habits. He probably wasn't potty trained.
Are owlbears mammals or birds? I figured out. Did we figure that out?
Oh, God, here we go.
Yeah. I was curious about
Did they
that.
lay eggs or?
And I was really curious. Well, because when I did that nature check or the whatever I did check that Og did, like there was a line in there about you could tell he sired young, and I was like, what? What kind of bad shit happens to owlbears? When
Right.
the
How
male
can you
gives
tell?
signs
Leaves
of
a
birth.
mark.
Like, yeah, like what's going
Is his
on?
junk halfway hanging off? What? What goes on in that?
Yeah, does he like stick the egg up somewhere? Like
That's
what happens?
probably where the bite out of the one that we fought came from. It was like they're
they were
mating,
boning.
and like he was like, oh yeah.
I
think I'm going
Like
to
notches in a belt.
No, let's pull the curtain on this. I want to keep that owlbear's dignity. But as I was sitting here for a moment thinking to myself and only half paying attention to you guys, I was thinking to myself that I was wondering if maybe there could be a redemption owlbear egg in the cave. Would you guys like a redemption egg to take?
No.
Are there any
Curtain
special
close.
recipes?
Yeah, can we
Eat
eat it?
everything owlbear.
Owlbear
It's a
egg
special
omelet?
ingredient.
Oh my
Yes.
god, you got to break an egg.
You guys
Mike.
you guys cook up a big owlbear egg omelet that night for dinner.
We're hungry. We worked hard.
Get some moon
Hard
radishes in
work
there.
killing baby owlbears.
Do we have wyvern eggs, or is that something I'm
We
imagining?
have 3 baby wyverns.
Oh, we have the baby
well,
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so-
Arian's gonna have
Serious
more.
menagerie. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the foundlings. We have the wyverns. We could have had an owlbear, but we don't.
we got kobolds. Same thing.
Sentient
They are
heritages.
They're autonomous.
Got a whole cave
Place.
full of kobolds.
They do.
We could put like glass on the outside of the cave and charge money for people to go up and take a look at the kobolds.
Terrible. Terrible.
So wrong.
All right. So you guys emerge from the beast's lair after a rousing discussion about the owlbear egg. You guys decide to eat it that night, and then you make for Fort Trand that next morning after skidding the owlbear, and its head is like sitting atop the trolley, or maybe you were on the horses. I don't know. Doesn't matter anymore. And you get back to Fort Trand after a few days' journey, and you're here, and you're back. And the townsfolk are beginning to rebuild. Okay. There's an insurance adjuster from Brevoy that's out and he's taking a look at Dundee Sundries.
Phil Flipperson's out doing he's suddenly a roofer. He's offering to replace Phil Flipperson.
You got damage here, and your thatch is damaged right here.
All of a sudden, he's a contractor.
Phil's up on the roof, or where the roof used to be. He's looking at a roof. He's looking at roof tiles on the ground. And he's like, "Look at how easily these tiles come up. You owe him a new roof. It's normal deterioration."
God, Phil, what the fuck are you doing up there? Get down.
Don't you guys know I moonlight as an insurance adjuster? I don't know how insurance works. So, fine. You're back in Fort Trand. There are a couple things that need your attention here today. We really need to understand how the rebuild is going to occur, what's going to happen, what's the messaging to the townsfolk. Weirdly, like 50 new citizens have arrived, attracted by the mines during the 4 or 5 days while you're gone. They're like miner guys and their families, and they arrive and the town's trampled, right? There's this weird population boom happening that we've alluded to a couple of times.
Okay, so it's like family units, not just like Gold Rush dudes.
It's both. And some of the dudes brought their families, their Gold Rush families. Would that ever happen?
Yeah, probably.
Sure, yeah.
People heard about like gold mines and booming cities where you can go and get a new fresh start. Yeah, absolutely. I'd see that happening. We talked about that. Like I think the gold rush in California, how like the population of San Francisco like tripled. And
people of Pataxian descent are coming in. Brevin, other areas nearby. People from the south. People, maybe from settlements that were related to Bristle Hill. Other things like that. It's happening. It's pretty awesome.
I mean, first order of business, I think, is definitely patching, rebuilding, and then just fortifying the town.
Yeah.
Just having some kind of perimeter defense, maybe a wall.
A wall?
I feel like
a wall with a moat.
And like,
I like having a moat.
I feel like Sirio should speak to the town.
Oh, goodness. I am not prepared.
Well, I'm not saying you actually have to physically do it right now. I'm just saying like it needs to be like in the plan that, the town just got wrecked.
Not quite a fireside chat, but maybe a little,
Yeah.
We're here. We hear you.
We will
show them the
rebuild.
head of the owl bear. Like, look,
Yeah,
this is what we do.
we got it.
Fort Trand strong.
Yep.
Should I put an owlbear in my profile picture?
Fort Trand strong.
Fort Trand is strong.
I like that.
FTS.
I think something that Mitch would like to wrap up that's been bugging me as a player since we got back into town after the owlbear attack is he would like to have a meeting with Harim, Eobald, Amiri, and then the four of us.
Oh.
And talk about Nugra. Because I'm sure that...
Eobald.
Yeah, he's got a part in it. Mitch has a plan.
Oh. Because Eobald's like, who the fuck's Nugra?
Right.
He doesn't
right.
know.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think...
Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Let me get Eobald for you. Let me find him. Oh, hello. My name's Eobald. That's what he
ready
sounds like
to
to me.
repay the debt you owe us for saving you from the Anus hags?
Well, first of all,
No,
sir.
Yes or no?
No. No, and I'll tell you why.
All right, guys, bring him back to the Anus
I
hole.
remember him in a cage, and not just a cage, right?
We
like
can put him
an
back in a
Iron
cage.
Maiden
Yeah.
type situation.
I just don't appreciate. I would like to be asked. I don't think I should be forced.
I have a task I would like your help with.
Okay, certainly. I owe you big.
Okay. This fucking douche. And I think what Mitch is going to approach is he's going to approach Amiri as warden of the town and kind of have Harim tell everybody present at this meeting about what happened with Nugra, like how he showed up, mentioned that he knew that Harim had kids, like he's been lurking.
Right.
And this guy has been a danger since day one of town founding. So Mitch would like there to be some sort of a watch. And this is kind of where Eobald comes in with he's a wizard, right?
Yeah.
So if he can start gearing some spells that might assist in stopping somebody or finding somebody that's traveling through the ground or like detecting magic, like just,
Yes.
I'd
be happy to direct my study in that direction. Sure. What does he look like?
Harim can give I think we just give him a description.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He's an old crusty old man wearing a burlap sack with a big old beard.
Right. And I guess like throughout I don't know, I don't want to jump the gun here, but if we're going to be having downtime, that's something that Mitch would have as a side project, is like hunting for this guy, like asking townsfolk, doing society checks, talking to people.
Dude, I like that Mitch is one to investigate Nugra.
Yeah. That's been bugging me for a long time.
Does everyone else have like a little side project? Because I think it'd be nice if each character had a thing.
Yeah, Og and Jubilost are going to put together a case on what should happen with Lindsay.
Oh, I like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
Sweet.
prosecuting her, or just, determining how the law applies to the situation.
Yeah, putting a case together on how the law should apply and the recommendation on what should happen. And I won't get into too many details, but for whatever reason, I just think the idea of bureaucracy in a fantasy setting is
so silly.
fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And Jubilost is like
Do it.
taking it upon himself to like build this bureaucracy and like process and procedures. So
Yeah, well, I
it's
can
all
imagine
wrapped
for
around
him,
that.
that's like getting in at the ground floor of a thing is pretty cool.
the way
Especially
that
if it's in your field.
The way that I say it is like the prose that he writes, like the process procedure, like that's his love letter and his poetry. Like this is his way of protecting what he loves. So it's all coming from a really sincere place. But he does shit like he's gonna set up a department, and he's the head of the department. But he needs to have a subdivision created to investigate the department. But he's the temporary chair of the subdivision, reporting to it's just
Nice.
all this red tape bureaucracy shit. It's just fun. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So that's one of the downtime things I want to do with him. And then the other thing I realized was that Jubilost we had found that those journals.
That's
and wanted
right.
to decode those. So that's something else they can do, I guess.
And then really Syria for his part, the Narissa hairs. I know you've got.
yeah.
I was thinking of tasking Jubilost and Eobald to that, but I think they'd be better suited for what Mitch and Og are doing. So I think this may just be a solo. I think this will be a solo endeavor for Sirio, just kind of in his not his den, but his quarters in the palace throne room. Just
how much
trying
is
to
Sirio-
investigate?
How much has Sirio shared with the others? All the encounters you've had with
Right.
Narissa?
Yeah, I'm playing it as
Aside
you
from
don't
the
know
main
anything.
4 people, not a whole
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so you may be playing that pretty close to your vest. So
And really, I'm worried since all these, quote, kings had some, a strand. Either it's something that she leaves behind when she appears, or I feel as though it may be some kind of, not a portal, but maybe some type of focus for potentially
it's a GPS
scrying.
tracker, man. It's a GPS tracker.
Yeah,
you're
it's
all the
for
time.
some kind of focus for scrying attempts, or some way to just kind of drop in and listen.
I like that. That's a way for them to, her to keep her thumb on you somehow.
So maybe store the hairs like in the outhouse or something.
Yeah.
So make sure it pops up. Boop.
Have Mitch build a lead box. A Faraday cage.
To back up to this meeting that you had with Eobald and this task that you tasked him with, hunting Nugra, Ikundeo becomes aware of this. And in a moment, maybe in the coming days, he finds Dry, Og, and Mitchell together. Sirio's not there for this. And he approaches. I think to update you on him and, what's the...
Amanda too.
Yeah, but that's not actually her name. What is it?
Isn't it? Oh,
I
my
wrote
God.
it down,
now.
but then I threw my
Valerie?
notes away.
No, it's not Valerie.
That Valerie.
God, let me find it.
It's, she's got a
Natavi.
Natavi. I was gonna say.
Natavi.
Natavi.
There's a V in there somewhere.
Regarding him and Natavi, it looks as though Natavi has chosen to stay in Fort Trand, but there's not this budding relationship between the two of them. They're, I don't know. There's just not. He doesn't seem into it, or at least not yet, or maybe he's taking things
I think
slow.
she's
don't
more
know.
into him than he's into her.
Well, and this goes into what he's going to say to you. And this is what he says. He says, "Gentlemen, I don't have much in this world besides my dog. I lost my family years ago. Why are you laughing at me? I'm trying to
Cover
tell
my
you
mouth.
something
You can't see
serious.
me laughing if I cover my mouth.
Why are you here? Why are you laughing at me? Gentlemen, I don't have much in this world. Didn't have much before I met you. First of all, I need to thank you for allowing me my revenge against Gragglebeard. What I want to tell you is that I consider the three of you to be my brothers. And I wish to stay with you. I want to...
Like we all get an apartment together? Like, is that what you're talking about? Like,
No.
Okay, well.
No, I have a nice place that I've got for myself, but... Og, do you live with your brothers at one point? Is that...
I've never had brothers, but I would...
Would we be roommates?
Yeah, I think we totally should.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I have a house that I've been building. Do you want to
Awesome.
come join me in my house?
Yes, I would. That'd be awesome. Do you have like a
Okay.
garage apartment like the Fonz?
Well,
I shouldn't know who the Fonz is, but if I did, I think he would live in the
set
garage
that-
apartment.
I don't know who the Fonz is, but we can make that work.
Yeah.
My desire is
Chris is
to...
very disappointed in us right now.
No, it's amazing that you're going to be Ikendeo's roomie.
Yeah, just for now.
What do you mean just for now?
We'll outgrow each other eventually. It happens.
Yeah, really, for Og,
gonna
I think
split
is
the rent.
until it becomes uninteresting, right?
Probably, yes.
Og, I have to pay rent. Will you split the rent with me?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, maybe. We'll talk about it.
We have to sign a lease. I can't just have you living here without a lease.
We'll just do it. We'll call it a trial period.
I'll have Jubilos draw it up for us.
Is there something we can help you with? Or,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Here. My dog is what I want to talk to you guys about. If something happens to me, if something happens to me, Dry call me. I want you to take my dog, is what I'm trying to tell you.
I'd be happy to take your dog.
And
I want a dog.
I want you to give him a name if something happens to me. Okay?
Just like you did
We'll
with
name him
Pig.
Ouija.
What? Just like that?
Ouija?
Just like that.
Og is curious why you wouldn't just let Dog stay at the house with Og.
Well,
be
no,
Og and
if
dog.
something happens
Og
to
and
me.
dog.
Og and Dog.
Og, you're my roommate, but I want Dry to have the dog. Don't make this weird, okay?
He's a little taken aback that you would invite him to share your home, but the dog is not important enough, or he's not important enough for the dog. That hurts. Og is probably not going to live here very long. He's
So
feeling a little
you've
offended.
reminded me of something that's happening in my real life. You know, my sister's getting married next year.
Yeah.
And there's bridesmaids drama with my sister.
Yeah.
And who she's
fantastic.
picked and who she's not. And she's got people mad at her.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happening here.
I feel like a little bit.
Ikendeo wants to hunt Nugra because Nugra killed Kritala. And Ikendeo feels a debt to you guys, including Kritala, who he knew. And that's what he's trying to tell you guys.
Yeah.
He
I
needs a
support
purpose.
this 100%.
He needs a quest. And Ikendeo desires to traverse the stolen lands in search of Nugra.
Oh, I don't care if he's in the stolen land somewhere. Like, I just don't want him in Fort Trand.
Popping out of the stone,
Right.
willy
Like,
nilly.
clearly he's been like just like lingering around, and that's unacceptable. That's
it seems
unsafe.
as perhaps Eobald then is the home defense system, whereas
Right.
Ikendeo
Yeah.
travels the land.
We should maybe actually pave over the stones in the bottom where Nugra can apparently enter and exit. Like just
Well,
like a
there's
couple
a
of
portal?
cement or something. I don't know.
There are magical means of sensing stuff.
That's an
in the
interesting
ground.
idea. You know, you guys approach Mitchell, you know, following this conversation, maybe you become inspired. In the coming next day or two, you approach the bed of rocks where this has now occurred twice. And you confirm with Herring that the same rocks that used to be in the Stag Lord's fort that Nugra descended down into after that fight, or in the midst of that fight, those are the very same rocks that he ascended out of during the beast encounter.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
You
we get a-
approach those rocks.
I
You're
detect
looking
magic.
at them now.
I detect magic over there.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
get a little magic detection.
Yeah.
Anything?
I assume, is Syria with you? I assume so.
Somebody either that or like Eobald
Like
can be
Eobald
detecting.
could do it.
Yeah.
You know, no, there's nothing magical about the rocks. There really isn't.
I'll leave this kind of as something for Eobald to wrap his head around, do some research, figure out how he could possibly be traveling through stone and how we can trap him, deter him, or just track him.
Okay, so I didn't think we'd be messing around with Eobald today.
Sorry.
But Eobald just made an interesting knowledge check, which he just passed. Here's what Eobald says. He says, if he's doing what I think he's doing, then he can only stay in that stone for a matter of minutes. He would need to have an exit somewhere near.
Exit somewhere. Say more about that. What do you mean by an exit?
Well, he would have to merge back out of the stone. And if you've never seen him merge back out, then he must be merging back out somewhere else. And he looks to the stone and he goes, have you ever dug down? Have you ever excavated?
I thought Mitch did. Or he like when we, after he left, like that was something that he was doing after the bandit, like we took out the stag lord. Oh. Like Mitch was like poking around, but I guess not deep. And yeah, we did a little bit of searching, but we didn't go too deep. What are you suggesting?
Well, Eobald
might be a cave.
Eobald suggests that this stone be excavated, dug up, chipped away. See what's going on under it.
It's going to be a sex dungeon. It's going to be bad.
Oh, God.
It's a huge job. I mean, it's a ton of stone.
Right.
But it could be done.
Yeah.
And that's Eobald's take on this. And Eobald rolled a high arcana check based on the spell that was described to him. It's the spell got remastered, by the way. I was just consulting with it.
Okay.
And
well,
that's what you think.
That's a really good
what you
start.
think is going on.
We'll get you the manpower you need.
I will put that on my to-do list.
Yeah, we had a bunch of miners moving to town.
Yeah,
seems very close to mining. Seems like a good opportunity for them to get some work.
Eobald walks over and he's like, hello, my name is Eobald. Up until very recently, I was a prisoner of hags, but now I'm a citizen of this fine town.
And it's hags.
Yes. Not like I have to explain myself, but yes. And he looks at a couple miners like, you there, Pickman. Come here, Pickman. Come here. Begin picking here on this stone. Do it now.
He's got a whistle like Oliver in Pickman.
Yeah, he's a Roger Pickman. S. Pickman.
Pickman.
Nominal determination.
Okay. So that's something that's happening.
Fine. Here's the next thing that happens here. As I understand it, there is a report on Lindsay's conduct that needs to be delivered to the king in the coming days. We flash then into the throne room. Sirio sits in his throne. Wolf hybrid form? Have you come out to the people, or are you
human form?
Human form. Okay.
Really, just wolf hybrid form when traveling or like out in the wild doing encounters, but in town human for sure.
For sure. Okay. I didn't know if you were like, this is me, but no, that's fine. Okay. And Og, Julianus, and Tompton and Jubilost enter. The rest of the court is there, everybody, but not Lindsay. Lindsay's not there. She's been told not to be here, but she may be here at your option, Zertova. I mean, it's your call. But you are to receive information regarding the embezzlement in a report composed by Og and Jubilost. What do you do?
Is she being accused of anything, or is this just a after action report type of thing?
There are devastating factual findings that show that she has mishandled funds, and you expect to receive an explanation of this. Lindsay has been interviewed and her statements are in the report, but, she may or may not be present for this. I guess it's up to you.
She should have to duel her accuser to the death in the courtyard.
Ink spray. That's
the only spell she knows.
Yeah, I mean, based on what is in the reports, I think she needs to be present for any further proceedings.
Okay. Amiri goes to get her. Amiri's like, well, we're roommates.
They're roommates too.
Yeah, they're roommates. There's a piece of masking tape down the center of their room. Half of it is like full of hides, and the other half is full of instruments and rainbows. I don't know.
Are we not paying these people a living wage? You have to share one room?
Well, actually, I guess I don't know. Well, hang on, plot hole. They lived in the town hall together, which has been destroyed. And also there's no throne room anymore. So I'm not quite sure what we're doing. Let's try again. I don't know where none of you guys have a house anymore. Yeah, that's why Og
That's why
got
I'm moving in with. That's why I'm moving in with the
Let's just scratch this whole podcast and start all over. That was only 48 minutes of my life wasted.
Oh God! I guess you must be meeting in a field somewhere. Okay. The report. Donnie, am I doing this, or you want to do this?
I'll let you do this. I pictured your Jubilost while this was happening.
I'm Jubilost. Fine, I'll do it. Your Excellency, I'm here today. If it would please you, I, Director Jubilost Narthropple, badge number JN-1001, Department of Investigations and Counter Knowledge. These are working titles I've developed for myself. I hope you find them acceptable. I am here to present the following final report from the Special Hazards and Financials Task Force, which is me and Og Julianus and Tompton over there. In the interest of time, I'll cover the executive summary, and I'll provide the full report for your review as needed. And he's got a little cart with him that he's been pushing around to get stuck in the mud. He pulls on it, and Og helps him. There's a massive stack of papers and parchment that he has. The top page reads, Final report on case SHFT-0423-017, misappropriation of federal funds by one Lindsay Clobo. I'm not sure why it's not just report number 1, since it's the first he's ever written, but there seems to be a large...
I imagine that's Og's doing, just assigning a number.
Yeah. Sir, I'll cut to the chase. This report details the investigation into Lindsay Clobo that was performed by me and Og Julianus and Tompton. We've determined that Ms. Clobo willfully misused federal funds for unapproved capital expenditures, namely the acquisition of printing press parts. As a direct consequence of Ms. Clobo's actions, as you well know, sir, after having consulted the other reports yourself, there was a military-style engagement that occurred that involved foreign nationals, also known as the Anishags, during which we were to retrieve the aforementioned printing press parts, which were misappropriated. Based on the findings and the precedents set in various instances of extrajudicial case law, I have some recommendations for you as follows. Would you like to hear them?
Let's hear them.
Okay. All right. Our final recommendations are as follows. First of all, Ms. Clobo should be sentenced to a prison term for misappropriation of funds. But then I feel as though it may be appropriate then for you to suspend that prison term on the condition of compliance with the following probationary terms. In other words, it's our recommendation that you place Ms. Clobo on probation. First, Ms. Clobo is to take responsibility for operating the printing press under official oversight provided by none other than myself, providing services to the kingdom at no additional cost until the value of the misappropriated funds are effectively repaid through her work. In other words, she must pay her restitution through capitalism. Then, in addition, she shall complete 500 hours of community service over the next 12 months. If she runs afoul either of these, then you have the option of imposing the underlying jail sentence.
Don't forget about the bangers, Jubilost.
Oh, yes. Of course, Special Agent Og Julianus and Tompton is referring to the term that requires the composition of 10 original ballads detailing adventures of the Department of Investigations and Counter Knowledge. Basically, she is to write about the exploits of the investigative body that caused her conviction to begin with. What say you, King?
These are some interesting recommendations. I'll take a couple of them under advisement. I guess we'll start at the end and work toward what you said at the beginning.
Okay.
As far as composing these ballads, how does a bard? What would you call it? Something about the id and the creative process?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a part of that type. I'm not that type of person. But my impression is that she should be able to do this on command.
Yeah, to be truly, create a masterwork. I feel as though she would need to be inspired. So forcing a bard to compose these things, we saw what happened when she writes a bomb. It's not good for the town. It's not good for the kingdom. So I say we don't strictly impose it and set timelines or dates. I feel as though she would naturally write these herself. So let's scratch that one off.
Okay.
500 hours of community service. I think we're already all doing that, right? So that would equate to what? Maybe a fourth of a year of work. And she's my counselor, so we'll scratch that off.
Okay.
And really that first bit about the subsections and the case numbers, and I'm glad it's all organized, highly detailed, and definitely written down. And I look over at that big stack of papers on his cart, his comical cart. And I have another piece of paper to add to that stack.
Oh.
And Sirio produces what looks like in Kratala's scrawl, a potential a receipt. And I think I may have to make a deception check to forge a receipt.
Gonna fool the counselors.
Oh my gosh!
I love this falsifying documents.
Do you want me to make this secret for you, or do you want to do it?
Let's do secret.
What's your modifier?
Let me pull up my sheet here.
Not the crime, it's the cover-up.
By the way, I just wrote down a rebuttal for Lindsay while Mike was talking.
Oh,
it's a big check.
And I know I've already said this, but we're going to have Cleo the Fox Kit be sneaking around, helping me out with this.
Okay.
So that is at 16 I will add to your secret roll.
Okay. All right. So I have rolled. So please continue with what you're doing.
Yeah, and I produced this document and handed over to Jubilost for inspection. You're familiar with Kratala's handwriting, I assume.
Well, yes. I've audited him extensively. And really good at addition and subtraction. And I have to say, Your Excellency, this looks legitimate to me. It's troubling that I didn't have this before. What is it?
You can see there in the details, it allocates funds for not specifically a printing press, but for the various parts and pieces. Kratala didn't really understand. I mean, he didn't have a blank checkbook, but he wrote out, Lindsay came, asked for funds, and he allocated them.
Jubilost says, "A moment, sir." And he walks over to Og Julianus and Tompton, and the two consult for a moment. And Jubilost says to Og Julianus and Tompton, "This is highly devastating to our report. It would seem that this information exonerates Lindsay, but it is troubling because Lindsay herself was not aware of the allocation of funds when we interviewed her. How should we move forward with this?"
Well, I see no case law that would, in our research, and I think the king was well within his rights to just throw this out if he so chose. So I think our report was simply a suggestion. So I think we can consider the case closed, and we've set new precedent. If the king finds a receipt at the end of the trial, the defendant is found not guilty. And so it shall be. It is case law now in Galarian, or at least the stolen lands.
Well, shouldn't we re-interview Lindsay and try to find out why she was unaware of the allocation beforehand?
We should do that too.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll come back with another recommendation.
He turns back to Sirio. Your Excellency, this looks like a legitimate expenditure that was made on the part of your treasury for these printing press parts. I would like to, if you permit, I'd like to question Lindsay about this in your presence, if you will.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh God. Hang on,
Ms. Clobo.
Let me pull up Google, or let me pull up ChatGPT so I can get my lawyer on.
I just don't like this.
I am not a lawyer, and I'm not your lawyer, but I would not recommend using ChatGPT as your lawyer.
Ms. Clobo, have you been paying attention to what has just transpired here?
I don't listen to anything you say. I've been hearing what the king's been saying, though.
So you're aware that the king has just produced documentation showing that your expenditures were done with permission. Isn't that true?
Yes, I remember. I remember talking to Mr. Trand about getting some funds to set up some developmental programs in the city, and he just pretty much gave me a blank check for that. I didn't tell him it was for the printing press. I didn't decide to do that till later.
Miss Clobo, Ogdulus and Tompton. I think you mistakenly referred to Kritala as Mr. Trand.
Shit. Yeah, sorry.
I know many people confuse them, which you wouldn't think a Strix and a lizard folk would be confused, but it happens more often than you think. So with the council, please take note of Miss Clobo's obvious just misstating. Thank you.
There's a lot of people dying around here lately. It's hard to keep track of.
And then he goes to fist bump Jubilost. Like, I helped, boss. I helped.
Yes. No? Yes. Now, Miss Clobo, you remember giving me a statement. Isn't that true?
No.
Well, please turn to page 7 of the report you have in front of you. Do you see that there in front of you?
I do see it. Is there video?
Okay. And do you see in the report that there's a transcript of our conversation that you and I had?
What day did I give this report to you? What day did we do this?
Well, do you recall the first page of the transcript where I said, "Oh, hello, Miss Clobo," and you said, "Go fuck yourself, Jubilost"? Do you see that there, the transcript?
Well, that's normally my reply to you, Jubilost, so it could have happened any day.
Okay, but do you remember us having that conversation together?
I remember us having a meeting, but there's been so much going on with the city being attacked and us fighting the anus hags that it all just kind of blends together. We had a really tough couple weeks there, and if you think that you could just sit me down in a room and make me think about something stupid for 3 hours while you talk to me, that just can't make it happen.
Jubilost, his shoulders slump, and he turns to the king and he goes, "Sir, I have nothing further."
If you have nothing further, this kind of has been a big waste of time, I think.
There's a surprise.
And I don't. It seems like there a lot of time and effort was put into creating your report, and it wasn't worth the time to read and go through. And so Sirio is contemplating replacing Jubilost on the council with someone who's a little more to the point and not trite, but makes quick, snappy decisions. That would be Og.
Wow.
Hey, Jubilost, would you like to stay on as my associate director?
Jubilost just got fired.
I will consider your offer.
Awesome. I think we can still do some really good investigating. I think don't take this as a loss, buddy. We just, you can't, the whims of a king. What are you going to do? We've got many investigations, though. Don't keep your chin up.
The injustice here is disgusting. Disgusting display of government corruption, of injustice, of ignoring the facts, of not valuing the work of a subordinate that's highly competent. Disgusting.
I hear you're not in Jubilost's voice. So is this more narration?
Are we being yelled at, Mike?
This is horrifying governance. Horrifying. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Deception's my main backstory, though. So, that's what Sirio is.
The king produces 11th hour evidence adds it to the record unilaterally, and then just fires the investigator.
It's really thumbing the nose at it because he's the king and can literally just go, "I'm pardoning her." Like he doesn't have to like manufacture evidence.
He didn't actually have to do anything. He could just be like,
exactly.
Yeah, who cares?
You're just like, "Yeah, I want to do it this way."
As the meeting's kind of winding down, Mitch comes in and asks he's like, "Hey, sorry, I don't want to be interrupting anything. Can we, hey, Serial, can we buff up our tab at the new watering hole? It's kind of getting close to our limit."
Jubilos is just like, Jubilos thinks to himself, I guess he's going to go back to plan A, which is becoming a private sector millionaire in Fort Trand. He's maybe going back to the private sector.
Oh, he's going to stay on. He's going to help me run the Department of Intelligence and Counter Knowledge.
Good luck to you with that, Ogjulinus and Tompkins. And he leaves.
I have a whole series of adventures that they're going to go on. You can't leave yet. We have to talk about how we're going to.
Mike is so mad right now. He's not mad.
He's very
disgusted.
He's very disgusted with us that we would even allow that level of corruption in the government.
Unconscionable.
Nobody died. We got the printing press.
Something worse happened than just a citizen dying. Okay.
Wait,
well,
no citizen
I hope
died.
you guys are proud of yourselves.
I was thinking of
Mike's
just
gonna cancel the
outright
podcast.
pardoning or just excusing it. But I was like, we need to have some kind of saving, some kind of cover, some kind of thing, some excuse.
And we had to transfer the power from you to Og. So,
yeah, and I wanted to kick Jubilost off the council anyway to get Og on the council, being as he's a player character.
Well, that's not. Yeah, that's true.
He's a team player.
Team player.
I did create an entire report to go behind that little scene that lays out even more painful
part
details
of it was
about this.
Just hearing Jubilost's really the part really at the beginning of his statement really appointed himself to oversee Lindsay's punishment.
Yeah, that's true. He should have.
So
it should
just
have
like
been overseen by the warden.
allocating himself more power, creating all these substructures and additional levels of bureaucracy. I just didn't want that to continue.
Yeah, what you're describing is that the treasurer was aggrandizing the zone of work to be done by the warden. It was the warden's function being taken over by the treasurer, which is a problem in government sometimes when one branch of government begins doing what the other ought to be doing. But
so if we couch that eventual goal under a little corruption, I think that's okay.
yeah.
Well, Jubilost isn't thrilled. But
He'll come
Greater than all
around.
branches.
He'll come around.
Jubilost goes over to his gnomes and begins working on the insurance claim. And he's back, baby. He's back in the private sector. Fine. Lindsay's exonerated through line. Okay, let's move on.
I would say royal decree, but whatever.
Did we get any XP? How much XP do we get for that?
None.
We're now level 5.
We're actually gonna. We just lost
Did
the
we lose
level.
XP for it?
You've descended to level 5 after that. Fine. Let's see. Have I covered everything that I want to cover? I think that I have. So, we've wrapped up book 2.
Wow! Congratulations, guys!
Wrap up it is. Ikendeo's companion quest has been completed. And so has Lindsay's. Ikendeo, friend, ally for life, roommate of Ogjulinus and Tompton. And Lindsay is back on the council, back good to go, counselor for life. And of course, now talk about loyalty for Lindsay at this point, right? She's not even going anywhere. I want to talk about the future of the podcast. Now, book 2, as we've described, really was a hodgepodge of the kind of the story track elements, but also there's all of this exploration stuff. And fellas, we've missed stuff. There's a lot out there that didn't get done, and it's content that's going to kind of leave you guys behind. And I'm working my way around to something that you and I, the 5 of us, have talked about, which is the possibility of a JV squad, a set of new player characters that are going to do some background adventuring, that are going to pick up some of these plot points and do some of these things. There's some stuff from the companion guide that we haven't covered yet There's stuff that happened in the computer RPG that never made it into the companion guide because the companion guide didn't hit all of its stretch goals. We could undertake some of that. There's some other adventures to be had in the Stolen Lands. And meanwhile, there's a kingdom that needs to be built. And here's the other thing that we're thinking about doing. What we're thinking about doing is taking the main player characters on between a 5 and 6 year time hop. Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Because the kingdom is level 1 or maybe level 2 at this point. The kingdom needs to match your player character level. The kingdom's got to go to kingdom level 6, but really that takes years of game time translated into iterative monthly kingdom turns.
Wait until they see how long it takes from get to 6 to 7.
Well, and really, I think like player characters, it's 10 to 12 encounters to get a level. So yeah, I think a year per kingdom level.
Yeah.
The other thing is that a lot of these mundane things that are going to begin happening in the Stolen Lands, these are not really appropriate tasks anymore for King Sertova and his Viceroy General and brand spanking new treasurer to handle, right? These are things that other adventurers, lower level adventurers, are going to handle for you guys. So here's the pitch. We're going to take next episode and we're going to introduce some new PCs. Yeah. All 4 of you guys getting some new guys. Classes maybe that we've never tried before. We've never had an alchemist. We've never had psychic. We've kind of have tasks in the thaumaturge. We never played with thaumaturge. We've got some remaster stuff. We've technically never had a cleric, and we had a fighter for 5 episodes. So there's all kinds of stuff that we can do. And so you guys are going to hit the books, come up with some new concepts, and we're going to take the narrative and we're going to move it over to these 4 new guys while King Sertova and his court begin to run and build the kingdom in the background and maybe even give the new players some new jobs to do.
Ooh. We care about the characters right now, right? The PCs that we play, but like the town's there, the kingdom's there, but outside of we interacted with it just a little bit. Like I don't care about it like a character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be nice to give it some context and some life and some breath.
Right.
And I think it may give some more meaning to some of the things that we do. So I'm excited to see that happen.
And it gives us a way to go back and do Kingmaker stuff that we were just too high level at this point to do. If we took our main high level guys to, the level 2 area, and it would just be essentially hand waving stuff. And I think it'd be more interesting to go in at level to do some of these things that are in the module.
Mm-hmm. Right. So the hope for you guys is that you're going to put together a team of adventurers that will heed a call from one of the NPCs that you guys have gotten to know really well as players, as commanders. But we're going to kind of flip the dynamic a little bit, and we're going to see how Amiri might look being in charge of lower level adventurers. We're going to see how Ikendeo might look, giving jobs to lower level PCs. And I'm very interested and curious how that's going to go. And so that's what we're going to do. Now, do you guys have any thoughts on what you want to do, or do you want to talk about this now, or do you want to kind of introduce it next episode?
I got lots of ideas.
Yeah.
But nothing I'm ready to talk about, I don't think.
Same.
Well, the other thing I love about all this is that there's so much fodder now for origins for new characters.
Yeah.
Whether it's, someone coming from Kree Tower, or someone that is coming from Oleg's place, or the Suitscale Caverns, or the Snickerdoodle Caverns, I should say, or, all kinds of hooks that you guys can get into on why these new people have arrived. So I'm looking forward to it. For those of you at home, we're going to be running Kingmaker turns in the background, and we're going to spend the first portion of these episodes talking through what's happening with the kingdom, kind of every 6 months or so, hexes that are getting expanded into, things like that. But in the meantime, we're going to try a new thing. If we like it and we get into it, I've looked through, I got 4 or 5 different things that we can do with these new characters. We don't have to do them all. We're going to start taking up some of these things. And I think the first thing we're going to do when we get in next time is we're going to focus in on something associated with Jathel, which I think should be pretty cool.
That'll be fun.
I've never seen a more satisfied nod from Bill before in my life. Look at him. Look at that. Look at the smile on his face.
Jathel's my favorite character.
She's amazing, right?
Yeah.
She's amazing. All right.